Here we have the quadratic equation. We know it's quadratic because we've got an x squared, an x and a number, and it equals to 0. So we can solve that. Now we're told to give your answer to 2 decimal places. That is our clue that we should use the formula. Because if we're factorising, we get a whole number or nice fraction answers. And if we're completing the square, we probably leave it in its simplest form, which is with a third in it, the square root. So, solving these using the formula, let's bring the formula in. This is what's written on the front of every GCSE exam paper. You're not expected to remember this formula at GCSE. So we have our ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is a, this is b, and this is c. So it's always good practice to write down your a, which is 2, b, which is 3 plus 3, and c, which is minus 7. Now on this particular question you get 1 mark, actually no, you get 2 marks for putting these numbers into this formula. So minus b minus 3 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 3 squared, which is 9. Now when you're using a calculator for this, I would recommend always putting the b term in a bracket, because if it's a negative number and you don't put it in a bracket, your calculator will give you the wrong answer, because you must square the negative, and if you do minus 3, so it was minus 3 squared, you'd end up with minus 9 from a calculator, because you need to put the minus inside the bracket so it squares the negative away. Anyway, let's carry on. So 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is minus 7, all over twice a, 2 times 2. Now that, if you've done that correctly, gives you 2 marks. There's only 1 mark for actually getting the answers out, since this is a calculator. This is basically testing whether you can type numbers into the calculator properly. So we need a fraction line for the top and the bottom, minus 3, and then we're going to go plus. We're going to do the plus first. This plus or minus means one answer's got a plus, one answer's got a minus. We're going to plus the square root of, open brackets. We don't really need this because it's positive 3, but we're going to do it anyway. It's good practice so you don't make a mistake at another time. And then typing in what it says on there, and then on the bottom we've got 2 times 2. I could just write 4. Oops, don't do that though, don't put 2 times 4, 2 times 2. And there we have our answer. We've got it in exact form, but we want 2 decimal places, so we get 1.27 to 2 decimal places. We're going to round off after the 6. So we round up to 6, so it's a 5, so we round up to 7. The other one, because we've got it in the calculator now, we can just go through using the arrow button if you've got one of these calculators, which I recommend you should get, and change that plus to a takeaway, and we've got the other answer, which is minus 2.7, and again that 5 rounds that 6 up to a 7. So 1.27 and minus 2.77 for 3 marks.